I really, really want it. What is going on, guys? Eric White in the building, and I didn't choose my last name. You guys know that. Phone technology has come a very, very long way in the time that I've been alive. That's a whole nother video, and I don't want to really get into it, but I just want to start off by saying this phone is really something else. Like, I know Galaxies and iPhones have been leading the way for a long time, and they've innovated quite a lot. Samsung especially. Apple still has a ways to go, but Samsung especially has been leading the way in innovation with their new Galaxy Fold, and they've just been doing so much. But it's nice to see this small company come alongside, out of nowhere mind you, and innovate phones to this sort of level. I don't want to get too much into it because that's a whole nother topic that I can make a video on, so let's just go ahead and start talking about the phone. And if you guys don't know, I already did a video about the OnePlus 7 leaks and rumors, so if you guys want to go see that, link right up there. A lot of the stuff that I covered in that is pretty much the same, but there are a few things that I was very wrong about, which I'm happy I'm wrong about. And the first thing is we have to talk about the display. Now, this is going to be a mouthful, but this is what this display includes. It is a Fluid AMOLED 516 ppi 6.67 inch HDR10 plus display, Quad HD 2K 90 Hz refresh rate display. Holy crap, that's a lot. And if that wasn't enough, this display has earned an A+ from DisplayMate, making it the best display in a smartphone right now. I'm even excited about this. That is a huge deal. The screen is what you most interact with your phone, so the fact that it is this good, we have to break down what all that means. So let's start with HDR10. Now, a lot of you know what HDR10 is. It's high dynamic range, which means it's going to preserve a lot of detail in the highlights as well as the shadows, giving it a lot more vibrant colors and overall a better image. 90 Hz is the refresh rate, meaning that it's going to refresh itself 90 times a second. Now, if you compare that to something like 30p versus 60p, 30 frames per second looks pretty nice, but if you look at 60p, everything looks a lot more fluid and cohesive. That's basically the same thing that you're going to be getting on a 90 Hz display, but not just on videos, on the entire system as a whole. Now, it's also clocked in a 516 ppi if you really care about that thing. It's just overall a great package, a great display, A+ from DisplayMate. To be honest, they're beating Samsung in terms of display, and Samsung has been leading the way in OLED technology and displays for a long time. Like, iPhone just barely caught up to their OLED technology with the iPhone 10. Now, the other thing that we have to talk about that's also a big deal is the camera on this thing, because they were very excited about this camera. For those three cameras, we have the 16 megapixel 117 degree field of view. We have the 48 megapixel RGB standard lens, and then the 8 megapixel telephoto lens. This camera has earned 111 on the DxOMark. That is the second, technically third, highest score for a smartphone, with a Galaxy S10 and a P30 Pro being tied for number one. This phone is right behind it. Like, you guys, they're putting up some big numbers. Now, if we're talking about the selfie camera, it earned an 88, which is pretty good. And we also have to talk about that front-facing camera more, because that is a motorized front-facing camera, which they said should be able to support around 30 pounds of weight. They even included this, nice, interesting little demo right here. And it also says that it's able to open and close over 300,000 times. And if OnePlus is saying that, I know for a fact they've tested it, because they extensively test their phones before they release them into the public. We know this in terms of their battery testing and everything like that. Now, the other cool thing about this camera, which further proves my point about them being able to innovate, this front-facing camera, the one that moves up and down, has a free fall detection system. And it's not a gimmick at all, it actually works. So basically how it works is, if you have the front-facing camera out and somehow you drop the phone trying to take a picture, or somehow it just falls, it detects that and immediately puts the camera back into the phone so it doesn't break. Holy crap, why has no one thought of this? Like, my mind is blown right now. And of course, it wouldn't be a flagship if it didn't have top of the line performance. So we're looking at the Snapdragon 855. They said that this phone is going to be 45% faster and consume 20% less power. 4,000 milliamp hour battery, goes up to 12 gigabytes of RAM, which they say can actually house 64 apps and keep them open at the same time. Like they are putting up impossible numbers, like impossible things. I can go on and on about the specs. The point is, this phone absolutely delivers. There's still a few things that I haven't talked about, but the fact is, you guys get the point. This phone is second to none. Like they're teamed up with T-Mobile, and I know there's gonna be lines outside the block and around the corner, just like it was when the 60 came out, because this phone, get this phone starts off at $669. Everything that I just talked about, the starting price for that one is $669. So if we start comparing everything that I just talked about, and I'm not throwing shots at any company, but just walk with me for a little bit. If we start to compare that with other companies for that same price, let's look at the iPhone XR, $750. Now you are getting top of the line, everything like that, and everything that comes with that Apple ecosystem. But for 6 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage, $669 for a better screen, a debatable better camera, I would argue a better performance and better features for a lesser price. I mean, once again, if you are tied in the Apple ecosystem, this phone is probably not for you unless you are looking to switch to the Android world. This one probably isn't for you, but for a lot of people who are already on Android and haven't even heard of OnePlus and see this phone, oh my goodness, this is very tempting. Like I don't know anything else that's this great of a phone right now. Like this phone literally has everything you would want in a phone. Now, of course, the phone is very new. It hasn't even been released yet. There are reviews that have already been released on it. You guys can go watch those. There's some great ones already out there. There's still a lot of stuff to figure out about this phone. We don't know if the 4,000 milliamp battery is going to hold up, especially with a 90 hertz refresh rate, the 800 nit screen. We don't know if the camera will actually hold up in terms of real world use. There's a lot to figure out, but if we are looking at just the specs and from their already great catalog of phones that they've released, we can expect this thing to be absolutely amazing. And I cannot wait. Hopefully I can get my hands on this when I'm not broke and actually have money to buy things. I definitely want to get my hands on this phone because it looks very promising. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys on this fine evening. I just really wanted to get this video out for you guys. Really excited to see what this phone holds up. Let me know if you guys are excited about anything in this phone, or if you want me to talk about something else. Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, go down below, click that like button, turn it blue. If you are new, click that sub button, join Innovation Nation. Just like always, I will see you guys in the next one.